And just which restaurants are everywhere? 2 chains dominate the list, with Subway owning 18. 5% of the data set, and McDonald's at 11.3%, Burger King is 0.3, but distant, as just 5. 7% of the fast food locations are home to the Whopper. And if the Golden Arches of McDonald's are your preference, Orlando is a good place to eat, as that city has 20. 9 MCDs for 100,000 residents, not 10,000, as in the other stats. While you're waiting for those famous fries, peruse these 25 things you didn't know about your favorite fast food chains. No matter which state you live in, from Alaska to Hawaii and beyond, there's no shortage of fast food restaurants. But residents of a certain state have more options per capita than the other 49. Alabama, the home of the Crimson Tide, comes in at no. 1 with 6.3 restaurants per 10,000 residents, according to a recent report from web data company Datafiniti. Nebraska comes in second, with 5.4 restaurants per 10,000 residents, closely followed by West Virginia and Oklahoma at 5. 3 locations per 10,000 people. But you won't be so spoiled for choice in Vermont, which took the last spot on the list, with just 1. 9 fast food restaurants per 10,000 people. New Jersey is second to the last with 2. 0 locations per 10,000 residents, and then New York and Mississippi at 2.1 locations per 10,000 people. According to the report, southern and central states have the highest rate of fast food eateries per capita, with the eastern part of the country coming in last with the fewest of these eateries per 10,000 residents. Southern state Mississippi, and neighbor to number 1 Alabama, is a surprise in the bottom 10, especially considering the 2 states share a border. The report also broke things down by major cities, and to no surprise, prominent tourist destinations were well represented. Theme park haven Orlando tops the city list, with Gambler's Paradise Las Vegas in 3rd. Cincinnati, not quite as much of a tourist draw, is 2nd. The Big Apple, New York City, has the smallest number of fast food stops per person. And just which restaurants are everywhere? 2 chains dominate the list, with Subway owning 18. 5% of the data set, and McDonald's at 11.3%. Burger King is number 3, but distant, as just 5. 7% of the fast food locations are home to the Whopper. And if the Golden Arches of McDonald's are your preference, Orlando is a good place to eat, as that city has 20. 9 MCDs for 100,000 residents, not 10,000, as in the other stats. While you're waiting for those famous fries, peruse these 25 things you didn't know about your favorite fast food chains. If there are 3 things that Alabamians take pride in most, it is their faith, their family, and their food. Not all food, however, is prepared at home. In a shocking study from Datafiniti, it was revealed that Alabama is the state with the most fast food restaurants per capita. Alabama came in first place with 6.3 restaurants per 10,000 residents, while Nebraska took second place with 5. 4 restaurants per 10,000 residents. The only non-southern states in the top 10 are Nebraska, Indiana, and Missouri. Although Missouri may have been adopted into the South when the University of Missouri joined NCAA Football Southeastern Conference in 2012.
Also detailed in the research were states with the least amount of fast food restaurants per capita. Vermont took first place in that category with only 1.9 restaurants per 10,000 residents. Surprisingly, Mississippi followed closely in fourth place with only 2.1 restaurants per 10,000 residents. With Alabama leading in the number of fast food restaurants per capita, I am curious if there is any correlation with obesity rankings. Face it, fast food is not the healthiest choice, and if it becomes an addiction or habit, it can be dangerous to your personal health. In this Datafiniti.org finding, Alabama ranked number 3 out of 51 states in 2016 for having the highest adult obesity rate in the nation. In 2016, the obesity ranking sat at 35.7%. That is more than a 5% jump from 10 years prior in 2006, when the adult obesity percentage was positioned at 29. Adults ages 45-64 lead the obesity rankings at 42.1% of total adult Alabamians. Alabama rankings for obesity-related health issues and other obesity percentages for different age groups, including children, can be found here. It is an interesting find, to say the least. It also leads into question the correlation between obesity and the number of fast food restaurants in Alabama. What do you think? Do you know of an interesting or newsworthy story that you think should be told? Let's talk. Email me, morris@yellowhammernews.com.americas Best Inexpensive Steakhouses Slideshow. America's Best Inexpensive Steakhouses. We all know, steakhouses are some of the most expensive restaurants around. If you've got a hankering for a nice dry-aged prime New York strip, you're going to have to be prepared to drop at least $40 on it. But this doesn't mean that you can't get a decent steak if you're on a budget, not by a long shot. Some steakhouses are downright cheap, and don't skimp on the quality either. Columbine Steakhouse and Lounge, Denver. This low-slung, no-frills Denver legend has been going strong since 1961, and its main claim to fame is how amazingly inexpensive it is. Fried chicken costs $8.75, a steak sandwich costs $7.95, pork chops $11.25. And most impressively of all, there are 6 steaks on the menu, and the most expensive one of the bunch, an absolutely massive porterhouse, costs just $20.75. As for the rest, a large fillet is $18.25, a T-bone is $16.25, sirloin and New York strip are $13.95, and a small fillet is $12.75. Tax is already included in the price, and all steaks also come with salad, potato, and toast. Dunstan's, Dallas. Dunstan's has been around since 1955, making it the city's oldest steakhouse, and it's also its least expensive. 6 or 9-ounce bacon-wrapped fillets go for just $12.95 and $16.95, respectively. An 8-ounce rib-eye costs $15.95, and an 8-ounce New York strip costs just $14.95. And if you want to try one of the city's finest chicken fried steaks, that will set you back just $8.95. Raise the stakes, Arlington.
But. This casual Northern Virginia steakhouse offers some truly awesome steaks, cooked in ways you don't often see. Brazilian picanha, top loin cap, is served with a spicy sauce, for instance, and the Diablo is a top sirloin glazed with a smoky sauce and topped with garlic, and all steaks are rubbed with a secret spice mix and grilled over an open flame. They're also quite affordable. Longlet, a hanger steak, only costs $19.99, and all steaks are served with endless homemade mashed potatoes and creamed spinach. Quality Eats, New York City. Quality Eats sent shockwaves through New York's carnivore community when it opened a couple years ago, thanks to owner Michael Stillman's decision to offer lesser-seen cuts of steak like flat iron, hanger, and skirt at shockingly low prices. It's still packed every night of the week, leading Stillman to open a second location uptown. The bavette cut, pictured, the least expensive steak on the menu, costs just $19. Desmond's Steakhouse, Henderson, Nebraska. Located inside the 86-year-old Railroad Pass Hotel and Casino, the recently renovated Desmond's Steakhouse serves a traditional steakhouse menu in every aspect but the prices. A 20-ounce New York strip loin costs just $20, a 14-ounce ribeye costs $26, and a 12-ounce prime rib will set you back just $24. Gaslamp Strip Club, San Diego. Guests are invited to grill their own steak at this unique restaurant, not a strip club, and the savings are passed down to the customer. Choice Angus beef is dry-aged for 21 days and marinated in olive oil and garlic, and all entrees are served with salad and garlic bread. A 10-ounce skirt steak costs $16.95. A 10-ounce steak marinated in Guinness and garlic costs $18.95, and a 14-ounce bone-in ribeye costs just $21.95. The Big Steer, Altoona, Iowa. Picture in your mind your idea of a restaurant called the Big Steer in Altoona, Iowa, and we bet you'll come pretty close to what this place actually is, starting with a giant painted cow advertising its Sunday brunch and dinner specials, and a sign in the front window hawking Iowa's finest prime rib. The interior is charmingly dated, but you don't come here for the decor, you come here for the Iowa beef. That prime rib is, in fact, paradigm-changing, and very well might be Iowa's best. The homemade bread is legendary, the steaks are spectacular, order yours to burgo, in a butter garlic sauce that's a regional specialty, and the Iowa pork is also worth sampling. It's also downright affordable. A 12-ounce top sirloin costs $23.95. A 10-ounce New York strip costs the same. A 16-ounce slab of prime rib costs $27.95, and their two most expensive steaks, a 20-ounce porterhouse and a 16-ounce bone-in rib eye, cost just $30.95. Cattlemen's Club, Pierre and Mitchell, South Dakota. Cattlemen's Club is exactly the type of steakhouse you'd hope to find while ambling through Pierre, South Dakota. Celebrating its 31st year, this legendary steakhouse goes through an average of 60,000 pounds of USDA choice beef a year and is located on an expansive tract of land overlooking the Missouri River. Today it's run by founder Muriel Arch's daughter, Cindy, and the menu has changed little over the years. 8, 12 or 16-ounce top sirloins, $13.99, $20.99, 10, 16 or 20-ounce prime ribs, ranging from $18.99 to $31.99, a $19.99 bacon-wrapped filet, a $23.99 12-ounce New York strip, and a $33.99 24-ounce T-bone. T. Joe's Steakhouse and Saloon, Cheyenne, Wyoming. This Wild West-themed saloon, complete with swinging doors and mounted stag's heads, is about as Wyoming as it gets. The menu is primarily comprised of bar food, sandwiches, and burgers, but its steaks and chops are beyond reproach. Slow-roasted prime rib costs $25, a 16-ounce ribeye costs just $24, and a 14-ounce marinated ribeye costs $22. All entrees come with your choice of 2 sides. Cattleman's Steakhouse, Oklahoma City. This 106-year-old gem, located in the heart of famed Stockyard City, is Oklahoma City's oldest continually operating restaurant. The no-frills temple to the noble steer is as popular with cowboy-hatted locals as it is with former President George H.W. Bush when he's in town. One look at what's on everybody's plate, beef for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, will tell you what this place is all about, as will the giant illuminated photo of grazing cattle along the back wall. The beef here is sourced locally, aged according to a closely guarded house secret, according to the website, portioned out on premises, broiled under an intense charcoal fire, and served with natural juice. It's also surprisingly affordable. An extra thick top sirloin costs $22.95, a smaller portion is just $18.80. A bacon-wrapped small fillet is $22.95, and the most expensive steak, a giant T-bone, only costs $31.